Hi guys, today we are making buffalo chicken bites. For the buffalo chicken bites you will need chicken. I am using skinless, boneless breast, an egg, almond or cashew flour, butter, hot sauce, coconut flour, and coconut oil. For the ranch dressing you will need plain yogurt or mayonnaise, fresh dill, parsley, and green onions or chives, paprika and cayenne pepper, and vinegar. Okay, so let's get started. I've already prepped my chicken. I cut it all up in about 1-inch cubes. You really want to make sure that these are all about the same size or else they'll cook really unevenly. Or if you don't give a cluck, you can just eat raw chicken. We're gonna get ready to bread our chicken. We have our 2 tablespoons of coconut flour, and I've just put salt and pepper in there to season it up. You wanna season it pretty heavily because that's gonna season your chicken. And then we have 1 egg, which we're gonna crack into our bowl, scramble that, and add a little bit of water. The water just helps it thin out a little bit. No yolk, the egg is going to help our cashew flour stick to the chicken. Okay, then we have our 1/2 cup of cashew flour. You could also use almond flour or any other nut flour that you like. If you're allergic to nuts, you can just double up on your coconut flour and dip your chicken in the coconut flour twice. So you need a baking sheet with either parchment paper, or you can use aluminum foil, or you can use a silk hat like I'm doing. You wanna make sure you have clean hands. I like to use my hands for this. It's just a little bit easier. If you're a germaphobe, you can go ahead and use gloves or tongs or whatever's easier for you. Then you just take your chicken, 1 piece at a time, dredge it in your coconut flour very lightly, and then in your egg wash, and then finally into your nut flour. Place that on your sheet. And then you just go through until all of your chicken is breaded. I love boneless wings, but they often have a lot of breading on them, and obviously if you're low carb, you don't eat flour. So restaurant boneless wings aren't really an option, but these are super easy to make at home and they're really, really good. They're great to put out as an appetizer if you're having guests over, or if you're having a football party. You could also just have them for dinner. This recipe would serve about 4 if you're having these for dinner. And then if you want to make these for kids, you can just leave off the second part, which will be our hot sauce, and just have little breaded chicken bites. Kids love them too. So once you have all of your chicken breaded and onto your baking sheet, go ahead and wash off the giant fingers that you probably formed if you did these by hand. You want to make sure that you space your chicken evenly on your baking sheet just so that it bakes evenly. Then we're going to take our coconut oil that I've melted in the microwave for about 30 seconds, and I'm just going to brush the top of each of my chicken bites. This helps them get really brown and crunchy. And plus, coconut oil is awesome for you, so put it on whatever you can. Then just go through and do that to every one of your chicken bites. All right, so once you've brushed all of your chicken, you can go ahead and pop this in the oven at 350 for about 15 to 20 minutes, depending on your oven. They're really small pieces, so they cook quickly. Now we're gonna make the hot sauce. For our buffalo sauce, we need 4 tablespoons of butter. I'm just using a grass-fed salted butter, but you can use whatever you have on hand. I just use a little saucepan to make my buffalo sauce. You don't need a huge pan or anything. So you want to put that on your burner on low. You better not have your heat too high or else your butter will burn. 4 tablespoons of butter into your pan, and you just let that melt on low. Okay, so once all of your butter is melted, you can go ahead and add a 1/4 cup of your favorite hot sauce, and be careful not to spill your hot sauce when you're doing this or else you'll have a hot mess. Okay, and then you want to turn off your heat and just stir that together until it's combined. And voila, you have buffalo sauce. If this isn't hot enough for you, you can go ahead and add as much cayenne as you like. Let that cool off the heat. This step is optional, but if you want to make your own ranch, this is how you do it. You'll need about 1 cup of yogurt. I'm using a full-fat raw yogurt. This yogurt is dairy good. However, if you do not like dairy, you can use mayonnaise as a base. Also, if you're trying to rev up your fats, you can use a combination of 1/2 cup of mayonnaise and 1/2 cup of sour cream. But I'm just gonna use my yogurt today. To that, I'm going to whisk in my seasoning first. So I have an 1/8 of a teaspoon of cayenne pepper and a 1/4 of a teaspoon of paprika. If you don't like extra spice in your ranch, you can go ahead and leave out the cayenne. I'm just gonna put in a couple grinds of salt and a couple grinds of pepper. And then we're gonna whisk this together. And then to this, we're gonna add our herbs. I'm going to use a clove of garlic, which I'm going to finely mince. Make sure to chop this really fine. You don't wanna bite down on a piece of raw garlic. Once that's all minced, just toss that right in. About 2 tablespoons of chopped parsley leaves. I personally love dill and ranch. I think it's a very classic ranch herb. Some people don't like dill. If you don't, you can leave it out. I would say about a tablespoon of fresh dill, just eyeball it. And then we are also going to add green onions. In ranch, a lot of people like to add chives, but I just love the flavor of green onions. I think well, obviously it's more oniony, but it kind of gives it a bite. So I just chop off the ends and then chop these really fine. And then for some acidity, I'm going to add a tablespoon of white vinegar. That'll also kind of thin it out for you too. And there you have it. That's all it takes to make a homemade ranch dressing. That is better than anything that you will ever have in a bottle. Okay, then you can just set that aside and we'll wait for our chicken to be done. Alrighty guys, our chicken is done and holy moly, does it look good. First you want to take your buffalo sauce and go ahead and pour that into a bowl. We're just gonna take our bites and toss them right into our sauce. Be careful, toss them kind of gently because you will lose some of your breading. And then go ahead and set them in whatever you're gonna serve them in. And then finally, you can drizzle a little bit of that ranch on top, or you can serve it on the side, whichever you prefer. So that is it, guys. This is a super simple, super impressive meal or appetizer that you and your guests will love. I really hope you enjoyed this recipe and maybe you'll make it at your next party or get together. And that's it, guys. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.